Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear Sebastians and welcome back again. Dear students, today we will learn about osmosis and the water uptake by the plants. My dear students, as we all know that how osmosis occur in the plant cells, that the water moves from the solutions which are having the very high water potential to the solutions which have a low water potentials. If I can simplify for you, that water moves from the high water potential to the lower water potential. So let's have a look in this picture that we have the three plant cells and they have different water potentials in it. As you can see in the left one, the water potential is high. The water potential is high because the blue dots in this picture that shows the high water potential, that has more water in it, and that which is in the center, that has a medium water potential. And on the right side, the cell, it has the lowest or the low water potential. So as we know that during osmosis, water moves from the high water potential to the low water potential. So my dear students, in this picture, what will happen? Water will move from this cell to this cell, from the high water potential to the medium water potential, and after some time that water will move from the medium water potential to the low water potential. Dear students, tell me that how long this process will goes on. Dear students, this will goes on until an osmotic equilibrium reach. So I hope you have understood the concept and the idea that how osmosis occurs in the plant cells. So how, my dear students, how the water is uptaken by the plants. In the plants, this osmosis, this phenomena plays an important role for the uptake of the transportation of the water. My dear students, in this picture you can see a tree, and that red line in it, that shows the xylem, and these are the roots of the tree, and up here these are some branches and the leaves. Where we are mainly concerned that the roots, because roots are the main organs of the plant which absorb the water. And my dear students, in our previous lessons we have discussed that on the roots there are tiny hair-like structures present that called as the root hair cells, and these root hair cells are basically playing the main role in the absorption of the water. So I have magnified this, only this portion for you boys, that over here, that overall that part is a root, which is that root, and that only a single cell is the root hair cell of that root, and in between that root hair cell and that red pipe, that is the xylem which goes along the whole tree, and in between them there is a root cortex which has the different kind of plant cell, different cells in it. And what will happen, or how the water is uptaken by the plants? Dear students, roots absorb the water, and that water reaches up to the xylem in the roots, then into the stem, and then into the leaves. And from the leaves it transpiration occurs in the leaves. So my dear students, coming back to our topic, that in this picture you can see the water content in the soil is high as compared to the root hair cells. So as the water content is high, what will be the potential of that water? That will also will be very high, and water will ultimately move inside the root hair cells. And as the root hair cells gains the water from the soil, ultimately what will happen? The water potential of the root hair cell will increase, and after increasing the water potential inside the root hair cells, the adjacent cells which are present around it, these cells have a low water potential as compared to the root hair cells now. Then what will happen? The water will move from the higher water potential to lower water potential, and as these cells gains the water from the root hair cells, what will happen? It will have these will have very high water potential as compared to these cells, and water will move ultimately in this way. I hope you are getting the idea. And at time, what will happen? Water will be absorbed by the root hair cells, and it will pass along the root cortex, and it will enter into the hollow cylinder, that is a xylem vessels. And that is the destiny where the water should be present, so that it can be transported to the other parts of the plants. My dear students, what will happen? That water will move up to the plant. Here in this case, it will move here and up to the plant, the other organ of the plant, which is stem and roots and the flowers. What will happen in the leaves? That water from the leaves, if we have a leaf over here, from the leaves, that water will evaporate. Transpiration occurs in the leaves. Due to the transpiration, dear student, transpiration is basically the loss of water from the surface of the leaf. From the surface of the leaf, what will happen? That water will evaporate, and that will result into the negative pressure into the xylem vessels, and that xylem vessels produce a transpiration stream. That means water will loss from the upper surface of the leaf, and that loss will form a space in the xylem, and in that xylem water will coming from the soil. So this is how water is entered through the root hair cells into the root cortex, then xylem, and from the xylem it reaches up to the leaves, and from the leaves it is transpired. My dear students, I hope you have got the concept and the idea about that how water is taken up by the plant. In the next lesson, we will learn about the active transport in the plant cells. Till then, take care of yourselves and the people around you. Allah Hafiz.